That's
hey,
us. Greetings, everybody, even though there's nobody.
Yeah, I've got to give. That's one thing I want. Very similar in the spaces this morning, is that it took a while for people to come in, and
Yeah,
like it got us.
makes
It was about
sense.
15 minutes
Yep.
before people. Okay, so now I'm going to re-quote post. Boom. All right, and
I thought that was a pretty good title. ChatGPT came up with. We talked about like RAM and storage, and
yeah,
oftentimes a phrase. This is for our Mac Geek Gab podcast, but oftentimes a phrase will be uttered by someone during the show, and it's like,
sure.
okay, that's the title.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
the
it.
t-shirt.
Great.
Oh yeah,
That's the T-shirt. Yeah,
That's the t-shirt.
exactly.
Yeah.
And but sometimes it doesn't, and so then I take the chapters, which I always do, and feed them into ChatGPT to get it to give me a narrative of the show,
Nice.
or a synopsis.
Uh-huh.
And when I don't have a title, I'll say, all right, give me 10 titles to work with.
Nice.
And I'll usually wind up sort of mixing and matching from the 10 ideas that it gives me.
Okay.
But the start of this week's Mac Geek Gab title was The Fast and the Curious. And it was man. Oh, wow.
That's badass.
Yep. I was like,
Fast and
okay.
Curious.
Holy cow.
That's a good one.
I know. I was
That
like,
is a good
whoa.
one.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Fast and the Curious, and and then I told it make me an image, and it came up with that that image of the ram running the
So
track
great,
or
dude.
whatever. It's
Yeah,
great.
It's perfect. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's just the best. Just the best. I mean, using that. I absolutely embrace the AI thing and just leaning into it and helped me so much. I should talk about this on the show, but matter of fact, I will talk about it on the show, and maybe I'll switch my I'll switch my intro part for Friday, the intro we were going to talk about, and I'll talk about a way to use ChatGPT that I found really interesting.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty wild. GPT, ICP.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna do this on Facebook, even though
Okay.
we don't get to see the
LinkedIn
numbers.
too.
Like
Let me jump on LinkedIn and do the repost as well.
there are definitely people watching from Facebook, even though we
Yeah.
don't get to see that there's numbers there. So
Yeah.
I might as well.
I just started. So how much? Why can't I see it on LinkedIn? Did it not post? Oh, here.
No, it says it posted on
Let
LinkedIn.
me see. Page post. No.
Here's the Facebook post.
Yeah, I saw the Facebook. For some reason, it did not alert on. Did not activity. Did not do anything on LinkedIn that I can see. Maybe. Oh yeah. What? This is so weird. No, this was last week. I'm a week behind. Yeah, it did not do anything up on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? So it's kind of interesting.
It says that it did.
Yeah.
Okay, well there's a link I can view on LinkedIn.
Okay, let's see what happens. That's interesting.
That it shows 6 days ago. It went
Right.
live.
It went live.
No.
It used the wrong thing.
No. Interesting. It's showing the link. So here's the interesting part. If
Okay.
I'll put the link here so you can see it. I don't know why.
I see Facebook, yeah.
It's this. So I put it in our private chat that we have. And so if I go there, it put that link up 6 days ago, but it's us now. This is live. Yeah, for sure. It's
you're
from
right. There's me clearing my throat. Look at that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's oh yeah. That's it. All right. So how do we? Okay, I have to click out of there because I have some crazy crazy reverb back and forth. Okay, so can we push it out? Are you doing it right now?
Yeah, I'm pushing it out. The problem is I've got it up on my screen, so I'm hearing like 3 versions of us.
Me too. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Once you post it, if you tag me, then I'll repost it. See,
I
you get to
did,
see how
and now I've closed out of it. Yeah.
Okay, let me try.
Woo! That was like super brain chemistry going on there with hearing ourselves like 3 times over in the past.
Yeah. Mentions. Yeah. That only shows the 1 week. That's very strange. Okay, well, I'm not.
But it should. The title should be 565 and 566, which is what this is. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Well, it is what it is. Oh, wait. It just came over. I guess it's just a little behind the times. There it is. 6 seconds. All right. So now repost with your thoughts. And let me see if I can type that. Nope, that won't work.
Crap.
Uh-oh. What?
No, it's okay.
Okay, great. All right. That's cool. I'm ready to go. And we got 24 people watching on X. We've got LinkedIn coming in. That they don't tell us how many. Facebook.
We have one on YouTube.
Hey, I'm on. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. I am.
Yeah, I'm ready too. Here goes nothing. Oh. Okay. There we go. All right. This will be it. This is how the magic works. Business Brain, episode 565 for Wednesday, July 10th, National Pina Colada Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we analyze them, we use them to tune our business brains every single time we get together. Our sponsor today is Shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can go and sign up for a $1 per month trial period. We'll talk more in depth about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, as usual, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still Shannon Jean, and I'm still out here in Northern California. How are you, Dave?
I'm good, Shannon. I have what I believe to be good news to share.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know. It's news.
Let's see.
There are things that I intrinsically pay attention to in terms of their prices. Oh, and okay. there are 2 of them. One is concert tickets, because I buy a lot of them. Yeah. And the other is far more intentional in my life. And that, my friend, is canned tuna fish.
Oh.
We don't buy the chunk. We buy the better stuff, whatever it is.
What is it? Albacore?
The albacore white tuna.
Yeah.
We have a rule in our house that I will point out we have had to violate for about 4 years now. But the rule is that we only buy cans of tuna when they are $1 or less per can. Oh. And yesterday, we were able to buy 5 cans for $5. Now, It was a special, but that's how these things begin.
Yes.
Things start out as specials. And the same is true with concert tickets. We're seeing shows not selling out. There's
some
still
being canceled, right?
Some being canceled, right? Yeah. There's a lot of flux in the concert industry about what the price of a concert ticket should be. Post-COVID lockdown, of course, during COVID lockdowns, there were no concert tickets being sold. Post-COVID lockdowns, the prices skyrocketed, and people were buying them because people had mounted up a ton of money and wanted to get out of their houses and go see concerts again. So they were selling out at top dollar, and that's fine. We bought tickets for the Stones, the Rolling Stones. We just went and saw them a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it with the I can't remember the name of the company that would check your bag.
Yes. The remote locker people. Yeah.
So stupid. It's stupid. No. It's great that it exists. It's ridiculous that it has to.
It's terrific.
But we bought those tickets in October. Now, we bought them on the day they went on sale. Stones are my dad's favorite band. And I was happy to spend whatever it was. It was almost $500 a ticket, right? Like it was not cheap. That's high for a concert ticket.
I would agree.
You know,
I would agree.
That week, tickets were being fire saled for that same show for let's in our section, let's say half of that or slightly less than half of that, which totally fine. This is not sour grapes. My family always yells at me. They're like, I can't believe you're looking. We've already bought tickets. It's like, no, I want to know for next time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because if they don't all sell out, it's a sunk cost. It's totally fine. But if they don't all sell out right away, then I want to know at what point before a show, like when does the dip happen versus it coming back up? When does it plateau? All those things. So I paid close attention to this stuff because we see a lot of concerts. And we did. We went and saw John Fogerty from the 20th row, perfect seats, last minute 2 weeks ago. We paid $30 a ticket. I paid more for my parking space.
Sweet. Yes.
Yeah, right. But so the number is somewhere between 30 and 500, right? But it's come down. And tuna has also come down. I know it's just a special, but that's going to normalize.
Yeah, you telling me that tuna is a buck a can tells me that interest rates are going to come down soon.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we want.
Yep, it's the tuna fish litmus test, but it's a thing. Yeah, groceries have been ridiculously priced since COVID lockdowns.
It's been nuts. Yeah, the inflation on groceries, and it's not like the inflation index or whatever. Oh, inflation is up 4%. It's like no, it's like double.
Double, correct.
Sometimes you go here and Renee will come home because I don't shop. I'm just not good at
it. Yeah, to be fair, Lisa passed this information to me.
Yeah,
but
that's
yes.
right. And so she'll come home and she's like, mayonnaise was $8. And so we have this new thing where like we have this list we use on our phones that we share.
Yes.
I'll get some of this. So there's always a caveat now. It's like, oh, I want this, but only if it's on sale. Otherwise, I'll just wait or I'll get a substitute or get something because it's ridiculous that, some of these fees. And I don't know about you, but we have this thing out here with our stores. I think there's only a handful of big grocery store chains now. Yeah. But at Safeway out here, everything would be crazy expensive. Like a 12-pack of soda or whatever, would be like $8 or $9. And then the next time you go, it would say, oh, buy 3, get 4 free. Or, some crazy. Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing that's new. That didn't happen 6 months or 12 months ago. That stuff is new.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting. I'm happy. I'm happy to see the prices come back down. That's for sure.
All right. Look, have you ever dreamt of running a store while lounging on a hammock, sipping pina coladas, and training a pet llama to do your taxes? Okay, well, maybe that last part's a stretch, but with our sponsor, Shopify, anything feels possible. When I started podcasting, an online store was the farthest thing from my mind. Now I'm selling all kinds of cool stuff, soon even merch for my Gig Gab podcast. And guess what? It's so easy, all because of Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage, Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling shipping supplies or promoting productivity programs, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS. Shopify turns browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other platforms. And with Shopify Magic, their AI-powered all-star, you can sell more with less effort. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and it's the force behind brands like Allbirds, Rothy's, and millions of entrepreneurs across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. So, if you want to live a charmed business life, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode.
Okay, man.
All right. What do we got next?
Yeah, what do we got next? So, we're not going to talk about tuna, but we're going to talk about.
Well, then forget it, folks. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for coming. So, I'm a plant guy. One of my first companies that actually took off and made money when I was in college was a landscape construction business. And one of the phrases that we use in that business, as I learned, I went to school for that, or went to college for that. And one of the phrases that you hear a lot was right plant, right place. And
Okay.
The lesson behind it is, if you're going to take if you have somebody by their front door and you're going to plant a plant, you want to plant something that's going to like stay the right size to be near somebody's front door, for example. If you plant something that's going to get 20 feet tall and 30 feet wide, you're just creating a problem, right?
Yes. Okay. Right.
Hack it back. And you're trying to get this plant to do a job it was not created to do. Okay.
I'm with you. I'm following you.
Segue
Yes.
this here. I've taken that once I left that business decades ago. I started thinking of that concept works with people as well. And with your business, it's right person, right position. And
I like this.
Yeah, and what I want to talk about is, because there's some nuance to it. This is not just, oh, well, you get somebody that's good and then you just keep promoting them. Because
All right, look.
that was
Sorry.
it. That's okay. That's all right.
I pushed the wrong button. We're just going to leave it
highly
in.
unusual.
It's
We're
totally
going to
fine.
put this date, July 9th at 1:30 p.m. because that's the thing. Okay, anyway.
I was going to remove the banner from the bottom here in the video thing, which I know 99% of you don't even see, and yet there I am pushing the wrong button.
I like the music. I love Shopify. They are I could do a whole show on why I love them so much. But anyway, so you get people in, and it's the typical. Okay, you start them out at some level. They're good at that job. And you're like, well, maybe this person would be good at that. Let's move them up. And a really common example of the Peter principle is you have a salesperson that you keep promoting, giving more responsibility, and eventually they become the sales manager.
Oh, yeah, no.
That is an entirely different position than the awesome, on fire salesperson that was closing deals and real aggressive and everything. Now that person has to have empathy and great listening skills and leadership and persuasion skills.
Yeah, that which it takes to sell is not that which it takes to manage.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. Now, if you're fortunate, some of them do good. But in my experience, some of the folks that are just okay at selling become very good managers because they have a different skill set, right?
Right person, right position.
Right person, right position. Yeah. So I like to just, you kind of have to look at the roles of your people and keep track. You almost have to have a database of what are their skills, and you have to observe them. Are they good listeners? Can they talk to customers very well? And you don't want to move these people out of what they're really good at. Guess what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as entrepreneurs, we are always thinking of moving up, right? Oh, how do we make more sales? How do we book more of this? How do we get more clients? How do we start another company? You need to understand that your employees do not always think that way. Some of them may want to continue to move up, but some of them are happy. They want a great place to work. They want a competitive salary. They want autonomy. Very important for your sense of
not necessarily in the order you are articulating here.
Money is often down the road or down the list because and the other thing that's really important
they want flexibility if you can give that to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I go see my kid's baseball game?
Yes.
Play? And man, that stuff is easy to give. And
I think so.
I think so too. And it's super valuable. So as you're thinking about this right person, right position, don't always think that you've got to move somebody up to another level. And I've made this mistake over and over, when I was younger, thinking that, that technician wants to eventually run this department. that ticks it. And I used to make this stupid comment. I'd walk around and I would go, well, don't you want my job someday? And then eventually I saw enough people go, no, I don't want your job, and I had a hard time understanding it. And so I had to kind of walk back or tone down my entrepreneurial spiel, if you will, that is going along in my head all the time.
Yes.
And realize that there are, some of your most valuable people, they may stay in that same position forever, but you've enhanced their job. Perhaps they take on a little more responsibility. They're making more money because they're better at their job or saving money or more productive or whatever it is. But you don't have to move them. I think you have to move them up constantly.
No. I have a friend who's been at Apple for 6 years. And there was probably a 15-year period where we were in touch, but not at any deep level. Like there was no falling out. Where just lives went different directions.
Sure.
And we wound up syncing back up a couple of years ago. And he literally helped start a department that was blessed at the hands of Steve Jobs. Like Steve created this department.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, hey, man, and I'm not going to say his name here because I've already shared more than he probably would ever want me to share. But I was like, hey, I assume you're like a manager. Like he was the first. There was the sort of founder of the department that was brought on, and then him. He was like number two, and it was two of them for probably 5 years before it ever grew to what it is today, where there might be 30 people in this department. And I just presumed that he was leading the department because the other guys moved on. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to be a manager. He's like, I tell them no. And he's like, I'm happy to work at the salary that I've worked at. Now, he's worked at Apple for 26 years, and I don't think he's an idiot with his money. So he probably has some vested stock that sort of changes his outlook for life. But he's like, no, he's like, I like doing what I do, and I don't want to stop doing what I do. It's like, just because I've been doing it for 2.5 decades doesn't change the fact that this is what I like to do.
That's right. And I think that's very important to recognize for yourself.
I was just going to say, for ourselves as entrepreneurs, we don't have to necessarily be at the top. There are places and times where it makes sense to hire someone to run our business for us, even if we're at a operational or technician level or whatever. If we want to work in the business, it's fine. Let somebody else make the strategic decisions if that's not what we're good at.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Absolutely. And I've lost good employees by pushing them to take on more responsibility, to become a manager. And many people don't want to manage other people, and they're miserable at it. And
I'm one of them, by the way. I know I do manage other people, but it's not my favorite thing. It's not why I do what I do.
Yeah,
I have to do it. I'm fine with it, but I understand where my weaknesses are, which I think helps, at least helps the people that I have to manage. But
and let me tell you, if you promote someone and it doesn't work out, it's very tough to bring them back. I mean, you can do it, but it's hard on them, on the department. And I'd love some examples or some tips on the best way if you've promoted somebody forward and it didn't work and you didn't want to lose them, so you brought them back down. And I've done it, but it's pretty bumpy. And so I guess it's just trying to be aware of the message that your employee is telling you in their review, in the day-to-day interaction. Are they saying things like, hey, I'd love more responsibility. Hey, I think I'd be a good manager. I want to be a supervisor. Well, that's one thing.
Yes.
But if you're hearing, I love what I do, I love my job,
please don't mess it up for me.
Yeah, don't just don't talk to me. Let me do my job. And because I have the saying is, and sometimes it's really true. It's like the quickest way to destroy something you love is to try to make money out of it, right?
Sure.
And
I don't. My life has not gone that path. But
that's good. Yeah.
But I understand
some
why
of
people
the things
say this.
that I love.
Correct.
I've tried have by monetizing it. You turn it into data points, and
yes.
you have to push and all this kind of stuff. But so think about it from a human resource perspective, and figure out where should this person really be, and maybe, like to your point, Dave, assessing yourself. And
yes.
Do I want to be the manager? Do I enjoy getting up and doing this? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
And I think to answer your question about, have you successfully brought someone back from that, or how do you successfully bring someone back from a failed promotion, essentially? I think it starts with a company culture that prioritizes self-awareness. And
awesome.
And that means you have to do that for yourself. Like, just being honest about, okay, like I've said it on the show, but I mean it. It turns out I'm a pretty good leader. I'm not a great manager, but I tell my people that, and that and other things sort of promotes this idea of, let's just be honest as we figure out who we each are. Let's be honest about that. It's okay. Yeah. And then if somebody does have a, short stint as a manager and comes back from it, well, then that's not failure. That's learning. We've learned, okay, that's the wrong spot for you. This is an experiment, and it's all okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's smart. And having that discussion openly, so that you being able to talk to people, hey, if this doesn't work,
it's not a hidden, like, it's not taboo. It's like, we tried it, didn't work. Oh, that's fine. Okay, great.
Or I didn't even just giving them an out, creating, hey, I didn't really enjoy it. And so I want to do what I enjoy. I'm going to go back and be a technician, or I'm going to go back and be a sales guy, and someone else going to step into that role. I love it. I think it's great.
Love it.
I'd love your feedback. Let us know the way you handle this stuff. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Tell us what you think.
Absolutely. Like he said, feedback at businessbrain.show. We love your emails. We love the thoughts that we get, and then we get to crunch it all together. We get to keep living that charmed life. And we'll see you on Friday.
That's cool.
All right, sweet.
All right.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
today's the day. I made an audio error in the show.
Recording that, yeah.
I recorded it too.
Yeah. That's so great. That's so funny. If there's any sponsor, I'd do it. It'd be with Shopify, because I just love those guys. They're building something. It's not that and now we're just live streaming, so this won't be in the show, but I respect Amazon, and as a consumer, I love buying from Amazon, but anybody who's ever done business with them, it's tough. And they're
ruthless.
Yeah, they're not a human-based organization, is the way I phrase it. Doesn't mean they're not nice people, whatever, but that's not their focus.
Apple is the same way. I have friends who work for Apple. We just talked about one of them. But the Apple is never your friend.
No way. Like, I love the Mac. No, there's my take on Apple is very different.
Very different.
Very different. And so Shopify, they're creating, they have created an ecosystem of smaller companies per se, even larger companies, but that allow you to get out there and build something on your own. And they help, with their shop pay, they help consolidate and, bring payment stuff in and everything. So they're just, they're, I think, a human-based company, like eBay. I think, eBay tried to be Amazon, and I was like, when I was consulting with them, I was like, look, you guys the power of what you have is you're human. You want to work with humans and not crush everybody to nothing in the squeezing the very last penny out of things. But as a consumer, I love the service. I love the next day everything shows up, and usually and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's amazing.
But I know as a reseller over time, what it takes to get that performance is brutal from a business perspective. There's a lot of expenses that don't get passed down to the consumer. So
right.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for streaming, hanging out with us. We're in between episodes right now as Dave spins the wheels and presses the buttons and pushes that first episode up into our production cloud so that I can go after the show and add some graphics and push a couple more buttons. And the one we just recorded will go out tomorrow morning to everywhere you listen to podcasts.
I'm actually going to, I'm going to Chicago this weekend to talk. I'm attending MacStock conference, but I'm also speaking there.
Nice.
And the subject of my presentation is this podcast workflow that I've kind of developed and together honed with, with everybody that's ever been a part of it over the last 2 decades. And it's been interesting pulling that presentation together. There's a lot of little shortcuts and things that I do, but
what a course that would be, man. You need to create that.
And, I could.
Dude,
oh yeah, it's created. People would eat this up.
Yeah, because that's the question I get from first episode to sponsorship.
Yeah.
Everybody, most of this podcasters, how do you get sponsors? That's the number one question.
Yeah.
So it's but that workflow that you build over time that you've created.
Yes.
Dude, it's the keys to the kingdom.
It's the keys to the kingdom because I start out the presentation and I think this will land well. This is the first time I'm giving it. I'm also giving it at Podcast Movement and potentially at South by Southwest too. So I'll definitely be able to polish this up. But it starts with, and this is true, there was a prime directive 20 years ago that I gave myself, which was publish 15 minutes after the red light goes off. So finish recording and publish within 15 minutes. And then there was a very, very secondary piece to that prime directive, which was maintain good audio quality. But audio quality doesn't matter if you're not releasing podcasts.
Yes. You got it.
Right? So you have to be able to, if one is going to be sacrificed, it's that. And that's it. Those are the two pieces. And as I was putting this presentation together, I realized, well, wait a minute. That's a perfect time to stop and say, you'll notice there's nothing else on this list here. Yeah, good content was not on the list on day one when we started with Mac Geek Gab or with this show. We knew we would get there, but Mac Geek Gab sucked. The content sucked. Our delivery of the content sucked. And it didn't matter because I knew the best way to get better at doing content was to do the podcast.
Absolutely.
And if I didn't have a consistent release schedule, then I wouldn't be doing the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's action, that bias to action.
Just take the action. Yeah. Release.
Yeah.
You will get better. The rest of the stuff will get better.
Oh yeah, I told you I hosted my first Spaces this morning with a bunch of other people, and I was like, well, I have the most followers, or they said, hey, you host it because you got the most people. And I said,
sure.
But I really didn't expect to host it. I thought it would be more of a dialogue back and forth. As soon as we started, I realized, oh, we need a host, and somebody to kind of manage and ask questions, and I just rolled right into it. Because I've been doing it here for,
I was just going to say, this is why I rolled into it with Mac Geek Gab. It was like, we can't just have two people talking. Someone needs to grab the reins at times.
Somebody needs to direct. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody needs to direct. There's a producer. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yep. All right, should we do the next episode here?
I'm going to pull up this ChatGPT thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Let me know when you are ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I will make the magic happen, and hopefully I won't screw it up this time. Okay, here we go. Business Brain, episode 566 for casual Friday, July 12th, National Simplicity Day, 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we analyze them, we use them to tune our business brains each and every episode that we get together, which is usually twice a week. Our sponsor for this week is Shopify.com/businessbrain. That's where you can go to sign up for a $1 per month trial period. It's amazing. We'll talk more about this in a little bit. I've used it. I'm currently using it with one business. I'm about to add it to another. I know Shannon and I have both used it in the past. It's amazing. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, on this National Simplicity Day, I'm Dave Hamilton.
Simple. I love it. Here out in Northern California, in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. Happy Friday, Dave.
Happy Friday. I hope I will have, we record this on Tuesdays. On Thursday, assuming the weather is permitting, which at this point, I think it will have been. I think that's the right way to talk about the future. I will have flown from New Hampshire to about an hour north of Chicago, where I am presenting at MaxDoc Conference. We're taking Pilot Pete's little Grumman Tiger.
Oh, wow.
Out. Yeah.
Nice.
This conference is in a weird... No, I'm super excited. I love small planes. This conference is, like I said, it's an hour north of Chicago, and it's a pain in the neck to get there. You fly into Chicago, then you either have to get an Uber or rent a car for 4 days that you don't need for the 4 days. You just need it to get out and back, or beg, borrow, steal a ride from someone, whatever that works out to be. And they moved the location slightly for this one. It's still in the same general area. And when they did, I realized that a mile and a half away was a general aviation, municipal airport. Yeah. And Pete was like, we could. And we did the math on both the cost of the fuel, which is essentially all we have to pay for to get out there and back. There might be a landing fee, but a lot of municipal airports there isn't. But if it is, it'd be like $30 or something.
Minimal.
And we're going to buy fuel from them anyway, so they'll probably waive it. But the cost of fuel and whatever was basically the same as parking at Boston Logan, 2 round trip, tickets in coach class, and then whatever we would have to pay on the other end to get out and back to this place from Chicago. So I was like, oh, this will be more fun.
That's cool.
As it's come closer, the weather, it's still a little iffy. So we might wind up buying plane tickets tomorrow morning. But the good news is nobody needs to be a hero. We're only doing this for fun. So if the weather dictates that it would not be fun, we will not do it. We'll just grab we'll let somebody else fly and we can have a cocktail on the plane. Yeah, it's fine.
I love it. Yeah. Speaking of smart, hey, before we get into our main topic, I want to share a tactic that I've been using with ChatGPT that I've, that has worked great for some of my clients that I'm working with, and it's related to your ideal customer profile. And what ChatGPT is good at is taking data that you give it, analyzing it, and creating something else from that to help expand what you're doing. So what I asked this client, they made a comment to me, wow, we have 10 customers that are basically like our platinum. We love these customers, and they generate 80% of our net revenue, these 10 customers. And what we don't know how to do is get more of those types of customers. So I had them give me their information about the 10 or the names of the 10 companies. I uploaded those to ChatGPT, and I said, hey, go ahead and research these companies. Tell me what identify their common traits. What things do they share? And once you find this information, give me all that information back. But then I want you to build a target list of 50 other companies that share these same traits, and tell me about them and what traits they all have. And once you've developed that list of 50, I want you to develop a marketing plan to go and reach out and start proposing, getting your product mix and services, a service business, get out there and get the word out to these people. And dude, it nailed it. I mean, it's
even if it didn't nail it, and I believe you that it nailed it, but even if it didn't nail it, you would know that it didn't nail it, and you would tweak that. Yeah. Even if the list was wrong, it'd be like, well, 30 of these are right, but 20 of these, no, they're missing. And then suddenly you'd fill in 15 companies. Yes. But ChatGPT as the catalyst to this. And then if the marketing plan was wrong, you'd be like, well, this part of it's good, but this part, and you would flesh it out.
Yes.
But it lets you start from somewhere.
The report it created.
Dude, I got to do this. We need to end the episode right now. No.
Yeah. What I will do is I will anonymize this or create another sample with some sample companies to show you how to do it. And the prompt I used was not bad. I mean, it wasn't too detailed. I told, hey, you're a marketing expert with experience in this industry. Here's a list of our top clients. I want you to research the companies in the list, come up with a marketing plan that includes providing a list of 50 companies that share the same traits as these businesses. Once we have the list of 50, I want a detailed marketing plan with action items to introduce them to our services. And
I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded only because I know it will work.
It seems so simple.
Yes, it is. It is the answer today.
So yes. So I uploaded this list and it did this research and analysis of current clients. It gave me their industry, location, their size, how many employees, what their services are. And here was very important. What they report is their noble cause. Their most, what if you go on their website of this company X, here's why we do this. And I didn't really think about that, but when you get that, you can fine tune your whole message to what they believe in. And ChatGPT did it. It was amazing. And
wow.
I mean, yeah, it was great. And and I can't take credit for other than coming up with the prompt and realizing it could do it. But it's great.
You can take credit for that. That's okay to take credit for. That's fine. That's genius.
So I will play around with this so we have something to share in a week or so, and I'll put it on the site. But that prompt alone, so identify who your top clients are. If you said, man, if we had one more of that company or 10 more of those companies, go up to chat. And this is the 4.0 version, Omni version. I don't know what it would do with 3.5, but it may do the same thing. But go up there, upload that list of clients and say, tell me what their traits are. What are the most important aspects of the business? What do they believe in? And then tell it to go find you 50 other companies that share those same traits and how to go market to those companies. And in the marketing side of it, put your constraints. Like I knew this company was using the companies that were located or employees located in India that were doing like email marketing and outbound calling. And so I said, okay, these are our constraints.
Yep.
How do we minimize the negative of that, maximize the positive? And it came up with a whole marketing program. So check it out. It'd be interesting to hear the prompts and stuff that you guys have been doing.
All right, look. Have you ever dreamt of running a store while lounging on a hammock, sipping pina coladas, and training a pet llama to do your taxes? Okay, well, maybe that last part's a stretch, but with our sponsor, Shopify, anything feels possible. When I started podcasting, an online store was the farthest thing from my mind. Now I'm selling all kinds of cool stuff, soon even merch for my Gig Gab podcast. And guess what? It's so easy. All because of Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage, Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling shipping supplies or promoting productivity programs, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS. Shopify turns browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other platforms. And with Shopify Magic, their AI-powered all-star, you can sell more with less effort. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and it's the force behind brands like Allbirds, Rothy's, and millions of entrepreneurs across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. So, if you want to live a charmed business life, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right.
All right, man, I want to hear this topic has me intrigued.
Yeah.
How to stop a coup at your company.
I don't know about how to stop it, but I know how to prevent the next one.
Got it.
Yeah. So this happened to me at a company that I ran years ago, a company called Computer Nerds.
Right.
And then it happened again recently, the company that a friend of mine runs that, let's say I consult for in some unofficial capacity. Right.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of people working, at this company, and with Computer Nerds specifically, I can share the gory details because A, it was decade and a half or more ago, and B, who cares? It was mine. I'm not going to share the details of my friend's company because that's not my story to tell. But Computer Nerds was a business where it was like pre-Geek Squad, but that basic concept. We would go out to people's homes and offices and fix their problems or install their printers or, do whatever we needed to do. And at one point, we'd built the business up. We had like 30 nerds out in the field and it was all going well. I was the junior partner in this business.
All right.
But that's fine. Like I knew that going in, like it was fine. I got a piece of the action, but didn't really, I had influence, but not final say over what happened. All good. No problem. About a year and a half into me being involved in this business, my partner, the senior partner, wanted to hire my wife to do all our dispatch. She was like in between jobs. He's like, I think that would be great. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And we were not husband and wife. We were living together, but not yet married. And I was like, well, if we do this, she's got to report to you. He's like, okay, great.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, well, I needed to learn about,
Sure.
And so that all goes on. At that point in time, this is the mid-90s in Austin, people's perception of like a long drive and traffic in general in Austin was, in my estimation, ridiculous. There was the same grocery store every 4 blocks because traveling more than 2 blocks was preposterous.
Like
Nobody. Yeah. And so everybody that lived there, at least those people that didn't come from like a suburb of Manhattan where we actually understood what traffic was like, just lived that world. And, we would get calls from various people and businesses, and then we would have to assign them out to our nerds each day and build a route that they would have to drive going from place to place. And
sure,
oftentimes it was non-optimal because we don't get to pick who makes the phone ring. It's just how it works.
That's right.
Yep. And there was there was one person that wanted the job of dispatcher and understood that there was always going to be some rumblings about like, hey, there's like nothing's ever perfect with management or whatever. And so they led a coup and went to other people and sort of riled people up and wound up creating a scenario where the right solution for the business, everybody was so upset about how things were routing that we had to let our dispatcher go, which was my wife.
Oh.
Yes. So I stepped in at that. My partner and I talked about it and I was like, no, I'll be the one to tell her. Like,
sure,
it's fine. I get it. And so this is the story where I fired my wife. And then a year later we got married. So it all worked out. Yeah. But what I did not realize at the time, and the advice that I have since given to my friend and will give to all of you, is sometimes that happens. And if you don't manage it as it's developing, you might not even know it's developing, then you have to sort of go with momentum. Otherwise, it was lose one person or lose 20, right? At that point.
Yeah, okay.
And so it's like, okay, the business has to do this. Fine. Not optimal, not how this should have developed, not how I would have liked it to develop, but it developed, and here's where we are today. Okay. What I did not do, and then had to do 6 months later, What I did not do was also fire the coup leader.
Oh.
I should have. I needed to fire my wife. Fine.
Yeah.
Understood. Yep. It's how it works. She got it. Like, eventually. It wasn't the easiest conversation the two of us have ever had.
We're going to have
the
show next week. And
that's right. Actually, that'd be really interesting. She and I haven't talked about that in a while. But I have hired her since then for other businesses. So, anyway. But what I should have also done in that moment was said, okay, I'm aware you have, all of you have this concern. This person's not doing the job the way they needed to do it. I need to fix this. So we've let that person go. We are going to install someone else in this position. Maybe in the short term, it's me. Whatever that needs to be, some emergency thing while we find the right person. But I also need to make it clear that this is not the way to do things here.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I am also letting that person go. The rest of you are totally fine, but that person created this scenario, went to all of you and did this, and that's not okay. So when you have a coup, you sometimes have to go along with it, but you also fire the coup leader as close to, if not simultaneously with whatever else, in terms of damage control needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough situation.
I know. Oh, trust me, I know.
Very, very tough. And I've had similar things like that happen where people, you get a group of people together, and they come forward, and this is the way it should be, or this person. And I agree, it isn't the way that if you're aware of it, and maybe you hear grumblings and don't do anything about it, that's one thing. But if they come drop this bomb on you, like we've all decided, my always is like, hey, this is not a democracy.
Nope.
It's not even a republic. We are.
No, but they could all leave.
I get that. Yes.
You got to protect that.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't want them to leave, but
right.
At the same time, you're like, hey, great, I appreciate your feedback. And let's talk about, what controls can we put in place to maybe address this in versus such a drastic way of, is it really the fault of an individual, or is it the fault of the system that we're using, the procedures that we have, the policies? You got to really look at it. I hate firing people, but it's a fail. I always say, when you have to fire someone, it's a total failure of management.
Oh, absolutely.
You've hired the wrong person, or you didn't train them the right way, or you have the wrong systems or policies, procedures in place.
No, and it was the latter with this. Yeah. I was aware that people were unhappy at times with the routing, but it was like, well, this is how it be.
Yeah.
Like, this is the nature of the job.
Yes.
So
exactly.
we do our best, and we understand that it's not great to have somebody go north-south all day. And we certainly try not to do that. But to have you stay in the same neighborhood where you could park your car once and walk from call to call, that ain't the gig, buddy.
Yeah, that's not the gig.
And my problem was, I was also coming from a suburb of Manhattan where it was like, you people don't know from traffic. Nowadays, Austin actually has some traffic. But back then, no way. No way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is interesting. And I think that as business owners, we're conditioned to constantly be solving problems and becoming more comfortable with doing that over time, where you're just like, well, this is just the job. I'm solving problems all day. No problems, no business. Where perhaps from, an employee perspective, it's more of, this is not my problem. We have to, we have to solve this, and pushing it out there rather than thinking this is a problem for our business. Maybe we could come up with a different way this is handled and propose it as a problem solution versus let's get rid of that person because they're, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, I was young. I mean, it was, the first time I'd ever dealt with anything like this. I mean, whatever, it's all good. Everybody survived. Like it's
good. But there is I I loved having big teams of people working for us, and sometimes it just drove me nuts. And it's people. I used to joke and say, if we didn't have employees and customers, man, this would be an amazingly easy job.
Yeah, but you'd have to do all the work yourself, and that's also not feasible.
Not optimal. Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, awesome. You bet.
Happy Friday.
I'll tell my wife to listen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
Yeah, she might have a different perspective on her departure, would be my guess.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for sending in all your feedback to feedback@businessbrain.show. We love that. Thanks to our sponsor, shopify.com/businessbrain. Keep on living that charmed life. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Great. We're out.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Good story. Good story. Yeah, it sounds great. Tough challenges.
Sometime when we're not public, I'll tell you the more recent story of this.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good. Always that kind of stuff. That's great. Street people watching the stream, thanks for hanging out. We're going to go ahead, like I said, we'll push both these episodes out. The one you listened to just a few minutes ago will come out on Friday, and everywhere you get your podcasts. And we thanks for hanging out with us for an hour or so, and we'll see you up on X or Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever you want to find us. Just search for our names and we'll come up.
Yeah.
See ya.
Later.